Okay, I've had an awful lot of different styles of movies so far, and I've kind of jumped back and forth between, 80s, 90s, a little bit in the 2000s. And there are a few movies that I kind of go, how come people have gone, how come you haven't reviewed movies like, Nightmare on Elm Street yet? Get into it, trust me. And other people are like, well, how come you haven't hit certain genres? How come we've done nothing in space? I currently have, no intention of doing space movies. Now, I'm going to go with a movie that is different in the world of the horror genre. I Spit on Your Grave. Now, this is one of those like rape revenge sort of movies where essentially you have a bunch of guys who are tend to be fairly brutal to a woman. And I'm talking like beat, rape. This has a very long and disturbing rape sequence. And this is one movie where you're kind of like, okay. Okay, so she's kind of beat. And they kind of torture her. She's stabbed. This is something that's actually very, very, very intense. I mean, this is old school, so this is brutal. I mean, this is brutal. And of course, she survives. And essentially what happens is as she decides she wants to get back at them, she kind of begins to sexually entice these men again. In some ways, giving into the whole, okay, you're really powerful, I actually really enjoyed it, you're such a man, those sorts of enticements. And then she begins to kill them one by one. And this has by far one of the most disturbing things I've ever seen in a movie. She tells the guy, okay, I want you she asks one of the guys to take a nice hot bath. And you can tell that she's, stimulating him now. Now he's under the water, so she doesn't see anything. And then she starts kind of being like, I've killed some of your friends. And it's just like, okay. And she grabs a knife from under a bath mat. And essentially castrates him. You don't see this on camera. You just hear him screaming, and it's just blood come pouring straight up. And then she calmly leaves the room, the bathroom, locks the door, goes downstairs, and she's like, listen to the radio. You hear this guy just screaming. What'd she do? Read up a little bit louder. It is super, super cold-blooded. And then the very, very last guy she ends his killing disembowels him with a motorboat engine, with a motorboat. The motor from a motorboat. I mean, this is tense. I mean, this is super, super tense. I mean, if you can find, a more, one of the uncut versions of this, it is super, super nasty. And of course, there has been talk of a remake. supposed to be released this year. As you can tell, it's October, and no one has heard of the I Spit on Your Grave remake. So, I Spit on Your Grave. No zombies, no Freddy, no Michael, no Jason. Just a bunch of runt guys beating and raping a woman. And then her coming back and exacting revenge. It's intense.